Tally-ho, Internet! My name is Viexi, and welcome to my impression of the ARMS Global Testfire that happened the other day. I would have been out a little bit earlier with this video, but basically life got in the way and stuff, blah-de-blah-de-blah-blah-blah. But, my god, okay, so, initial impression of the game is that Nintendo have gone and done a Nintendo, but they've done a Nintendo in a good way. Here is a small selection of the characters you can get at the moment. Apparently it's not the full selection, but I went for my girl, Ribbon Girl, because Ribbon Girl is absolute bae. Ribbon Girl is best waifu. Yeah. So, I mean, just look at his big blue eyes, this lovely ribbon hair. The way that I played ARMS myself, I used the, obviously I used the Joy-Cons, because why on earth would you play for the first time using, like, you know, just the Pro Controller or a normal setup, when you have motion controls, and this is not Wii Waggle. This is the real deal, bros. So you got to tilt them left and right, like, you got to tilt them together, to move around the arena. So you can dash using the, using your left thumb. You can jump using your right thumb, and obviously you punch your Joy-Cons to punch. I mean, you know, simple as that. So if you punch and then twist one of the Joy-Cons, it tilts it in a certain direction, depending on, you know, where you want to aim, because obviously your enemy's going to be moving around all the time. Punch both together, and you can grapple. And the grapple, like, right off the bat, I'm going to say this, that it is overpowered. It is far too easy to rely on. Most of the matches that I played were actually just a case of, like, oh, here comes another grapple. Good thing is that it's easy to counter, but I'll go into that in a little bit. You can guard by crossing your Joy-Cons together, and then you get a rush mode, which is where you just flail your arms like crazy. It was basically the way that everyone used to play Wii Boxing, if you remember Wii Boxing. Incredible game, Wii Boxing. In fact, it is actually probably not a bad idea to compare Wii Boxing to this. But imagine Wii Boxing spent its life on steroids, then went into a hyperbolic time chamber, Dragon Ball reference, and came out as ARMS. And Nintendo they have done it again. Look at her, she is adorable. I took a screenshot there because she is adorable, right? Do not judge. Don't judge. So, jumping straight into the party mode was basically the only actual mode that the Testpunch allowed us to use at the moment. But what was really good is that you get this, like a test mode. And I mean, the way that Nintendo have done the UI for the game is phenomenal, because, so obviously you can practice against moving targets and stuff like that while you're waiting for a game to start, but around the outside, you can see everyone else who is in your lobby. Now, it seems like Nintendo have opted to just kind of randomly place you in a lobby of 8 different people, and you could see that in real time, you know, their health was being affected, so at all times, if you're in the lobby, you can see how other people are performing. And the way that the lobby works is that it will just sit you in a pool, and anyone who isn't in a game at the moment can be just randomly matched together into any sort of number of different game modes. Now, this one was 2v2, and it was so much fun. I mean, I lose this one, spoiler alert, but this was the very first one that I actually played, so I was still very new. Especially because I hadn't played online against anyone else before. Later on, I get really good. I get really, really good. But this one, you know, it was just you know, trying out just to see what's what and how it all goes. It's kind of interesting. You've got this ribbon attached to your partner at all times, so you can't be too far away from them. So if your partner gets thrown, you will actually get dragged along with them. I don't think you take any damage, so I think it's fair in that regard. No, maybe you do, actually. But basically, it kind of encourages defensive play, because it's not like you can try and circle around the back, which is a big problem in 3-for-all and free-for-all. A difference in pronunciation between the two. But yeah, it is just so intuitive the way that it works. This is actually one of the rare instances where a rush attack did work for me, because it's quite easy to get punched out of a rush attack. And obviously I got my arse absolutely handed to me. But that's fine, you know, because, you know, Ribbon Girl will come back strong in the future. I do like the little victory pose. It's very Splatoon. I mean, Splatoon's style kind of oozes throughout all of this, but obviously it's not Splatoon. Now, this, I skipped a couple of matches, but I actually decided to jump into this one because I feel like this is where I started to gain a little bit of competence. You could see there most of my punches were still wildly off base because it's very easy to accidentally tilt the Joy-Con when you're punching. It's something you've got to be quite aware of. You must excuse me, by the way, I am sick, and if I'm making any horrible bloody throat noises, I will try and vet them out afterwards. It's kind of like when I'd recorded Robin before about the chronic fatigue. And that was a horrible case of just editing and all stuff like that. But, you know, you can see here I'm jumping out of the way of punches. I'm trying to anticipate the direction that they're going to go in. And I feel quite sorry for Toph, who tried very hard, but didn't really get a chance to get me below that first bar of health. I'm very sorry, Toph. If you happen to watch this video, and you aren't a 10-year-old, add me to your friends list. I'll give you a fairer chance next time when you've had more of a go with the game. That being said, I only had like 4 coins at that point, so yeah. Now I skipped into this one. This is a volleyball mode. Now the volleyball mode is strange because in 2v2 it was boring and it felt insubstantial and inconsequential to the rest of the game. But then I played it 1v1 and it was it was tense. It was really, really good. So in some ways I'm wondering if maybe it was an anomaly with maybe like kind of, you know, the other team didn't really know what they were doing, which is why it felt so kind of cheap. But when I played it 1v1, like trying to juggle the ball, now if you juggle the ball too much it starts flashing and will basically, you've got a timer. And if that timer ends, not just the overall game timer, but the actual ball itself, if that timer ends, then the ball will explode no matter what side it's on. It just, you know, you just don't want it to be on your side when that happens. And the rallying it backwards and forwards or volleying it, whatever it is, it's a volleyball, so I'm going to say volleying. It was a case of, you know, it was really, really tense, but as you saw there, we wiped the floor with the other team, and I'm pretty sure it's just because they didn't know what they were doing. I wanted to add this one in as well, actually, because my partner fucking disconnected like an absolute shite. It's the only case of disconnection that I saw in the whole time that I played the Testpunch. But my partner disconnected, but the reason I added this in is because you'd think that I did terribly. I just hit my my pop shield there. You'd think that I would do terribly, but I didn't. I actually really managed to hold my own against 2 people. Now, you see here, you've got this yellow kind of like area of effect that comes up. That actually charges up your special attack, which I didn't realise until after I'd finished the Testpunch. And every now and then you'll get a green one, which gives you more health. I didn't know this, and I don't think that a lot of people actually did know that. Now, this is an example of me using my rush attack, but I got cancelled out there because I got punched. Oh, what I was going to say about the grabs is that if you get grabbed, all you need to do is just punch to break a grab. It's so easy to counter a grab, but it's one of those things where you've got to be anticipating it. You see here, Linky OS is almost out of health, and I'm like, oh, I can take down at least one of them. But then he gets in a lucky grab, which I didn't anticipate, and, you know, that's me, I got ruined. But I was so close, guys, honest to God. I tried my hardest, and I almost managed to win against 2 people. You'd think that I would have been ruined, but I wasn't. I am starting to run out of footage here, and I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to carry all of this conversation, and these impressions. But I mean, like, my overall impression is that ARMS is solidly well made. It is incredible. For this one, I decided to try Helix. But the choice of characters is really, really good. The control schemes are incredible. I did try using the handheld mode for the second Testpunch. This is actually footage from the very first one. And it's okay. I feel like Nintendo have kind of made the control scheme horrible on purpose. Because I think that, like, the motion controls are their baby. and I don't know, like, you can punch with the triggers and all that kind of stuff, but jumping and dashing is done with the face buttons, and guarding is left stick click instead of L, which isn't used by anything. Like, the fuck is that about? But this is the last fight, and I wanted to keep this one in because it is a very, very good example of how not to let your opponent win a free-for-all. Because basically, if you try and stay away, just let everyone else fight each other, and you can mop up the win afterwards. Now, I had no right winning this one. Again, spoilers if you're that kind of person who doesn't want to hear about individual game-winning spoilers. But yeah, I won this one. I needed to cough, I'm very sorry. I turned my mouth away from the microphone to breathe, or Taizonde or whatever. How does that line go again? I turn away from the microphone to breathe or something. I don't know, fucking... He doesn't even say that, does he? Never mind. But yeah, so I have got, like, 0 health. And these two are going at it. You got this guy, Perceptus. I can't read his name, the screen is really small at the moment. Perceptus or something. But basically, he gets ruined. Like, he had, like, full health and goes down to 0. But purely just because these guys are focusing on each other, I am perfectly safe in my little bubble. Oh god, sorry. So I get my rush mode, and Mechanica is like, oh, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, and I mopped up the win. And it was as simple as that. It was, I think Nintendo, could probably work on a few things, like the dependency on grabs and free-for-all and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, kind of like preventing people from standing out. But that is actually it. I finished at like 1 minute before the event ended, and this is now footage of me quitting out the game, and it was very good. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.